Do you like conspiracy theories? Do you also like space? If that is the case, I've got a movie for you. It's 1977's Capricorn 1. Capricorn 1 was written and directed by Peter Hyams, who also did movies like The Star Chamber in 2010. It also has pretty much an all-star cast for the 1970s. You have James Brolin as Charles Brubaker. You have Sam Waterston as Peter Willis. It has Elliott Gould as Robert Caulfield. It has Brenda Vaccaro as Kay Brubaker. Hal Holbrook plays Dr. James Kellaway. We have Karen Black playing Judy Drinkwater. That's a great name. And it also has Telly Savalas in it, and it has J Simpson in it. J Simpson, during his illustrious film career, Capricorn 1 is one of the movies he did. And basically, Peter Hyams, the director and writer, was told he had to cast J Simpson in this movie. He would have rather have cast a more experienced actor in that role. He was going to go for a black actor and thought that it would be better served to cast a black actor that had paid his dues and had more experience acting. But no, the studio told him he must cast J Simpson. So the premise of Capricorn 1 is that they're on the first manned mission to Mars. And before takeoff, the astronauts are taken out of the space capsule and flown to a secret location. The astronauts themselves don't know what's going on. Come to find out that a few months ago, they found out that there was a flaw in the system and the mission would ultimately be a disaster, killing all the astronauts. But instead of scrubbing the mission, behind the scenes, people plan this hoax about the mission to Mars and basically hold the astronauts captive and make them perform for the cameras their Mars landing. And then a lot of things happen after that. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And if you like conspiracy theories, the 70s is really the time where conspiracy theories started to flourish. That is when you started having the first conspiracy theories that the moon landing was fake. And this movie definitely plays into that theory for people. And writer-director Peter Hyams actually was inspired to write this movie when he watched the moon landing. And then subsequently when Watergate and all of that happened and people really, really started mistrusting the government. But he said when he saw the moon landing and when they would cut back to the studios and there were all these simulations and everything, that sparked in his mind how easy it would be to fake something like this. And lending itself to the 70s being a time where conspiracy theories flourished, the movies of the time also reflected that. You had several movies that were based around a conspiracy theory happen in the movies. These included films like Clute and Chinatown, The Conversation, A Parallax View, 3 Days of the Condor, and of course, the ultimate conspiracy theory movie, All the President's Men, which is a true story. Of course, that's Watergate, and I think Watergate was the catalyst for a lot of people just not trusting the government. Capricorn 1 received largely mixed reviews when it came out. Some critics thought it was like overwrought and too melodramatic. Other critics thought it was like groundbreaking. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Editing. The visuals in it were pretty good. It was largely shot on location in California, Arizona, and Utah, and I think just maybe a scene or two in Texas. All these desert scenes and everything, which lends to the Utah and Arizona parts of it, but it gives a realistic edge to what they're doing, and the way that it is produced is really gives credence to a lot of conspiracy theories out there, especially the moon landing conspiracy theory. And the funny thing about this movie is NASA is kind of like a villain in this movie because of not all of NASA, but a lot of the upper people portrayed in this movie working for NASA. They work to, make this thing happen and stage a Mars landing. But NASA did give cooperation to the making of this movie, which I find really funny. And I used to watch this movie when I was a little kid. We had it on beta, did not see it in the theater. But we had a Betamax machine, and my dad was able to get his hands on a lot of movies. And basically back then you had just mom and pop video stores. Blockbuster really wasn't a thing yet. I don't think that came around, at least not in my area. And I grew up largely in another country until like the late 80s, and the 90s is really, in my opinion, Blockbuster's boom time. Another interesting thing about this film, well, at least something that I find interesting, and it's really not about the film, is this film stars two of Barbra Streisand's husbands. So during the late 60s, early 70s, she was married to Elliott Gould. And then, of course, now, since the late 90s, she is married to James Brolin. So two future Mr. Barbra Streisands appearing in the same movie, as well as two of the parents from Friends also star in this movie, because Elliott Gould plays Monica and Ross's father, and Brenda Vaccaro is Joey's mother, which, like I said, has nothing to do with this movie, but I find it a little fun fact. Capricorn 1 also did fairly well at the box office. I believe its budget was around $5 million, which is a moderate budget for the late 70s. And it ended up making like $43 million worldwide. It actually was the most successful independent film of 1977-78. He was released first in December of 77 and then wide at the beginning of 78. But I always have found Capricorn 1 as a fun, good-looking space conspiracy movie. And if that is your cup of tea, this is a good movie to watch for that. I know in theaters recently, or being released soon, I don't remember, they have the space conspiracy rom-com with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum that came out. I think it's Fly Me to the Moon. So that came out. This is definitely not a rom-com. It is a more serious film. So not exactly the same vibe, but a similar premise. So give Capricorn 1 a chance. If you've never seen it before, you might love it. Or if you've seen it, tell me what you like about it, or tell me what you don't like about it, what you didn't think worked for Capricorn 1. I would love to hear your thoughts about the movie, or if you've seen it recently, what you thought of the movie. Does it hold up? Does it stand the test of time? Or any memories that you have when you first saw this movie. I love when you share. I love when you have the comments down below and we get the conversation going. Build a little community here. Just so you know, my goal this year is to try to make it to 500 subscribers. So you commenting and leaving likes, and if you subscribe, it really helps me reach that goal, and I love that. I love my little community here, and I just love talking about movies. Well, my name is Stacia. Thank you all so much for joining me. Like I said, if you want to, if you enjoyed this, if you enjoy movies and conversations about movies, subscribe, leave a comment, give me a like. I would really, really appreciate it. But thank you for joining me on my little corner of the internet. My name is Stacia. I just love movies. I try to have fun here. And thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.